It's Mrs. Behrens. Today for science we will be reading this book titled This Is Our Earth by Laura Lee Benson and illustrated by John Carrozza. This is our Earth. As we read through the story, pay close attention to the different ecosystems that you see in the illustrations and that are talked about in the text. When we are done with the story, you will respond to this book by listing 3 of the ecosystems you saw and by writing a paragraph about one of them describing connections. Let's read. This is our Earth, to cherish and love, to clean and protect, to take care of. So many people live on Earth, and there are more of us each year. In order for us all to live in a healthy and prosperous way, we must share and carefully protect Earth's natural resources, the air, water, land, and food supplies. From the mountains so high with their rugged terrain to the valleys below and the green grassy plain. Located high up in the Rocky Mountains, the Continental Divide is the imaginary line that separates eastern rivers from western rivers. Eastern rivers flow into the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico. Western rivers flow into the Pacific Ocean. No rivers cross the Continental Divide. From the tall wooded forests with their towering trees, people benefit from trees in many important ways. Their leaves make oxygen, that is a vital ingredient in the air we breathe. The leaves also provide cool shade on hot summer days. Trees play another important role. Paper is made from trees. To the fish, whales, and dolphins that live in the seas. All animals breathe. Like human beings, whales and dolphins have lungs, so they must come to the water's surface to breathe air. Fish breathe underwater by using their gills to filter oxygen from the water. From the deserts of sand where the tall cactus grow. Deserts are dry. They receive less than 10 inches of rain per year. We may think of deserts as vast stretches of land covered by sand. The majority of the world's deserts are not carpets of sand, but are covered with gravel, stones, and scattered boulders. To the cold Arctic north, with its glaciers and snow. The largest glacier on Earth covers an area of land bigger than the United States. This glacier blankets Antarctica, the continent that lies at Earth's south pole. The ice and snow are so deep that only the mountain tops are not covered by this mighty glacier. From the rainforests where the wild parrot calls, near the swift-flowing rivers and lush waterfalls. The greatest variety of plants and animals found anywhere on Earth is in rainforests. Living conditions are ideal for plants and animals because there's an abundance of sunlight, rain, and food. Rainforests receive 160 to 400 inches of rain per year. Do you remember how much rain a desert receives? If you do remember this fact, send an email to your teacher and tell them how many inches of rain per year a desert receives for an extra credit point. To the wide open prairies where elk can be found and thousands of prairie dogs that live underground. The prairie is sometimes described as a sea of grass. There are more grasses than any other form of plant life on the rolling prairie lands. Big bluestem is a species of prairie grass that grows 6 feet tall. That's taller than most people. From the shimmering lakes where flocks of geese swim, and the blue jay keeps watch from a lofty tree limb. When birds fly south every year as the weather turns cold, they follow the same flyways, paths in the sky. No one knows for certain how birds find their way, but we think they use the sun and stars and landforms like coasts, rivers, and mountains to guide them on their long journey. To the farms in the country where cows graze on hay. Most dairy farms have cows to produce milk, but some have buffaloes, goats, or sheep instead. One milk cow can give more than 1,000 gallons of milk per year. That's 44 glasses of milk every day. And the parks in the cities where children play. The Boston Common, a famous city park, became America's first public park in 1634. But it started out as a cow pasture. Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming was the world's first national park, established in 1872. So take a good look, and I think you will find. Look closely at sand. It is really tiny pieces of rock. Most sand is light brown, but there is white sand in Florida and green sand in Hawaii. In other places, you can find beaches that have black volcanic sand. That this beautiful earth is one of a kind. The earth has many natural wonders, such as the Grand Canyon in Arizona. At one place, the Grand Canyon is 5,500 feet deep. That is deep enough to hold the world's 4 tallest buildings stacked on top of one another. Let's do our share and lend a hand to preserve all we have in this wonderful land. Each of us must help in our own way, each day, to keep the land we live on clean and beautiful. Please throw litter in the trash can. Whenever possible, recycle glass, paper, metal, and plastic. Learn what else you can do to help. This is our earth to cherish and love, to clean and protect from below and above. Seen from outer space, Earth looks blue and white. The blue is the ocean water, and the white, swirls of clouds. How beautiful and wonderful this place we call home. Let's share it and take care of it. Together, we will protect the earth from harm. This book is a wonderful way for us to explore the beauty and the amazing ecosystems that our earth has. To respond, you will need your science notebook and a pencil. Once you have those materials, take a look at the image you see on the screen here. Remember to include the title, This is Our Earth, and the date, 12/4/20, on the top of your page. Your first task is to list 3 ecosystems that you saw in the book, This is Our Earth. Write the numbers 1, 2, 3 along the left-hand side. Then list the 3 ecosystems you want to include next to the numbers. Once you have listed 3 ecosystems that you saw included in this book, read the next part along with me. It says, choose one ecosystem above. Write a paragraph describing how parts of that ecosystem depend on each other. Write at least 4 complete sentences. This response question asks you to choose one ecosystem that you listed and to describe how parts of that ecosystem depend on each other. This question will require you to use things that you learned in our last unit of study, ecosystems, and connect them to the unit that we are now starting, which is landforms. Once you have chosen your ecosystem to focus on and thought about what you want to discuss for how parts of that ecosystem depend on each other, you can start writing your paragraph. Remember that a paragraph includes a topic sentence, a closing sentence, and in between you will find 3 supporting details. The visual that we have used before is the visual of a hamburger or a cheeseburger. You have the topic sentence and the closing sentence as the buns that keep everything together, and the supporting details in the middle that give your paragraph flavor. Once you have listed the 3 ecosystems at the top and written your paragraph about the ecosystem and how parts of it depend on each other, you will submit a picture of your science notebook entry to this assignment in Schoology.